Rain that falls on the earth is available to us in the form of surface streams, soil moisture and groundwater. Crops as well as trees need water to grow and give us grains and fruits. Increased exploitation of groundwater is resulting in depletion and drying of open as well as bore well.
These dried up or low-yielding bore wells may be rejuvenated by adopting an innovative method called bore well recharge. After constructing a bore well recharge structure, farmers will be able to augment water yield and resume crop cultivation. Farmers may also increase cropped area depending on increased water output from the bore well. However, one need to wait for 1 to 2 rainy seasons to get this result.
An essential step before constructing a bore well recharge structure is to test the bore well for its recharge potential. A simple form of this test is to pour water from a tanker into the bore well and observe the water level. If the entire water poured into the bore well goes inside, it indicates that the well is suitable for recharge. If the water overflows from the well as water is poured, the well is not suitable for recharge. A detailed test may be done if a water level indicator is available. A water level indicator helps to measure the water levels in the bore well. In this method, water level in the bore well is measured before pouring the water. Here, the water level in a test bore well is recorded as 110 feet. Water is poured into the bore well till the tanker gets empty. Water level is measured again immediately after stopping the water input. The water level now is at 66 feet. After stopping the water input, water level slowly drops from 66 feet to the normal level of 110 feet. The time taken for the water level to drop to its normal level is recorded. In this case, it took 13 minutes. If the time taken to recede to the normal water level is less than 20 minutes, it is classified as a potential well for recharge. In this process, several wells may be compared and best well is selected. The construction of a recharge structure may be done by farmers themselves easily. Most of the required material are locally available. The construction process is explained here in 5 steps. First, mark the pit size of 10 feet by 10 feet on the ground. Here the bore well is at the center of the pit. One may opt to align the bore well closer to one of the sides. Remove the soil around the bore well casing pipe using a proclainer machine. It is advisable to disconnect the electricity connection and remove the submersible pump set before making the pit. The square pit of depth 10 feet is done carefully without disturbing the casing pipe. The soil from the pit is dropped on downslope to prevent re-entry when it rains. The completed pit will measure approximately 10 feet length, 10 feet width and 10 feet in depth. If bigger stones emerge, one may leave them in place as breaking and removing them is more expensive. Leaving this pit unlined helps in recharge of rainwater through all sides and bottom. Now, the casing pipe is secured in place by fitting a clamp at the bottom. These clamps keeps the casing pipe secured in vertical position. Vertical slits are made on the casing pipe to allow water to creep inside. As a preparation for making vertical slits on the casing pipe, 5 feet height of the casing pipe from bottom is marked. Using the cutting machine, vertical slits of 3 to 4 inches long are done in a staggered manner on entire surface of the casing pipe. These slits are narrow in width and do not allow passage for larger soil particles. Cement mortar is placed around the clamps and allowed to dry for few hours. Now the pit is filled with stones of different sizes in layers. Larger boulders are picked up first and put at the bottom of the pit. Instead of dumping boulders from trucks, each stone has to be thrown in the pit manually. Care should be taken not to damage the casing pipe while throwing the boulders. Boulders are filled up to 5 feet depth. This matches with the depth of vertical slits on the casing pipe. Now, pick the medium-sized stones and fill the pit for 2 feet depth. Finally, fill the pit with smaller pebbles for next 1.5 feet depth. Stone metal of 40 mm size may be purchased for filling this layer. Few remaining smaller pebbles of 40 to 60 mm size from the boulder loads may also be used for this purpose. Spread a nylon or HDPE wire mesh covering entire surface of the pebbles. Join the pieces of mesh together using binding wire. The mesh opening should preferably be 0.75 mm. Larger mesh size allows passage of sand and soil. Finer mesh size clogs early, resulting in reduced recharge rate. Additional 4 to 6 inches of mesh may be provided on all 4 edges for preventing sand slipping down. Fill coarse sand on the mesh for a depth of approximately 1 foot depth. Instead of sand from the bed of a local stream, use only coarse sand from a riverbed. The sand from local streams will have 30 to 40% fine particles which may clog the mesh or reduce recharge openings. After sand filling, construct the parapet wall around the structure using stones and cement, leaving openings of 2 feet length on the wall for inlet and outlet. Optionally, a cement jelly may be provided to the inlet. This prevents entry of debris and leaf litter. Make a diversion channel for leading the rainwater into the pit. Stone pitching may be done at the inlet to trap silt in the rainwater. Recharge structure may easily be constructed by the farmers themselves at a cost of around Rs 35,000. After constructing the recharge pit, the borewell may be used for pumping also. Installing a submersible pump set is done in usual way. Future removal of the pump set in case of repairs may also be done easily using different apparatus. But using the tractor-mounted apparatus, it is difficult to removal of pipes and pump set from a borewell recharge structure. To overcome this difficulty, one may construct the pit locating the borewell within 2 feet of any one side of the pit.
We are now at a borewell recharge structure constructed by a farmer in 2014. The structure got filled up with silt and covered by thick vegetation growth. We will now see maintenance activity to be done to keep the structure functionally efficient.
Over time, fertile soil from the catchment gets eroded and deposited on the sand layer. Grasses and plants grow faster on the fertile soil. Removing the grasses and other vegetation has to be done frequently in a year. This will help in free flow of water into the structure and through the sand layer. The soil eroded from the catchment gets deposited on the sand bed. This deposition obstructs the water movement through sand and slows down the recharge process. Removal of this top 4 inches of soil every summer exposes the sand layer and restores the recharge capacity of the structure. Over years, sand layer gets clogged with fine soil particles. Entire sand layer may be replaced with fresh sand once in 3 to 4 years. Removing the sand layer exposes the mesh layer below. The mesh layer is untied and removed for cleaning. Sand from local streams contains 30 to 40% fine silt particles. These particles pass through and settle below the mesh as a thin layer. To avoid this problem, only coarse sand from riverbeds shall be used in sand layer. This HDPE mesh is in good condition after several years of use. If the mesh layer is damaged, replace it with a new mesh. The mesh is now cleaned with water. The thin soil layer is washed away, exposing the smaller stones on the bed. After placing the cleaned mesh, it is tied with plastic wire or insulated copper binding wire. The mesh layer is adjusted to cover entire surface of the structure. The old sand removed from the structure is discarded away from the structure. New coarse sand is filled on the top of mesh for about 1 foot depth. We can avoid early clogging of sand bed by using coarse sand. The revived structure with a new sand layer is ready now. This will harvest and recharge rainwater in coming rainy season at its full capacity. When it rains, the water flow from catchment results in inflow to the structure. The diversion channel takes the water quickly to the structure. The sand bed filters and allows percolation of clean rainwater into inner layers. A well-maintained structure allows recharge of maximum rainwater without any overflow. Once the open spaces between inner stone layer is filled with filtered water, it starts flowing into the borehole. If observed during and after rain, one can easily observe the sound of water falling into the borehole. Thus, the borewell recharge structure will be able to recharge up to 50% of rainwater.